welcome back. If you're new, my name is Chris. Tonight's video is a subscriber request. I was asked to do a video on fragrances for the fall that are long-lasting and inexpensive. And let me tell you, that is a lot harder than it sounds. I have several fragrances that I love to wear in the fall and autumn that smell amazing, but maybe don't have great longevity. And I have lots of fragrances that I love to wear in the fall that are not exactly inexpensive. So procuring this list took me some time and effort, and I put a lot of thought into it. And since I like round numbers, I have 10 fragrances that I think smell really good for the fall. All of them are $55 and less, and all of them have really good lasting power, at least on me. So if you're interested to see what I've picked for tonight's video, please keep watching. The first fragrance that made the list, it also made my powerhouse fragrances for a reason. 2 sprays of this and you are set for 12 hours, no joke. And it is Kenzo Jungle L'Elephant. This is the strongest, or one of the strongest fragrances in my entire collection. Like I said, 2 sprays, it will last you all day. And depending on when you spray it, it'll go into the next day. So you have to be really committed to this fragrance, and you have to really enjoy spices, because this is a spice bomb. In particular, you have to really enjoy clove and cinnamon. I really get a blast of clove in the beginning. It does have a really nice sweetness, which I think comes from amber, and it does have a little bit of mango, which gives it a little bit of a fruity sweetness and keeps it from being kind of just a full-on spice rack. So very inexpensive. I think for this giant 3.4 ounce bottle, I paid around $50. So the smaller bottles will go for less. So yeah, this is the first one on my list. The next fragrance got a ton of attention for months and months and months, and then nothing. I really don't see anyone talking about this fragrance. I still think it's a fabulous fragrance, and it's a great fragrance for this list for many reasons. Number 1, it's very strong. And number 2, it has notes that I think are well suited for the fall. And number 3, it's inexpensive, and that's why it made the list. And that is Casablanca by Swiss Arabian. Like, nobody talks about this anymore, but I still think this is a fabulous fragrance. It smells really good, and I believe I paid around $35 for this. Now the price, you know, can go up and down depending on demand, but it was very inexpensive, and this is a big giant bottle. And you know, if you've never smelled it before, it's a lovely, fresh, refreshing, and warm scent at the same time. It's got this nice fruitiness at the top. I know it has grapes in it, but I also get kind of a little bit of a pear note. So it's grape and pear to me. And it's got this lovely sweetness from caramel. It's caramely. It's got vanilla in it. It's got amber in it. And let me tell you, when I first tried this out last year, like early in 2021, I sprayed my daughter's arm once, and it was in the morning, and by the end of the day I could still smell it going strong. So it is a performer. It's great for the fall and very inexpensive, so that's why it made my list. Next fragrance up is a fragrance I think I've only talked about one time. I think this line of fragrances really are kind of hidden gems, particularly if you can get them at a good price. And they are the Shimmer series from Michael Kors, and I could have picked any one of the shimmers, but tonight I chose the Twilight Shimmer. I think it's very well suited for the fall. I picked this up at the cosmetics company store. I always see this one there, and I believe at the time I picked it up, it was around $30, like maybe $29, which is fantastic. Tonight I just looked this up on Fragrance Net, and the smaller bottles were going for either $30 or $40. So like I said, it made the cutoff of $55 or less. So this is a plum-based fragrance. It has other dark berries. It has plum. It has, I think, just red fruits in general. It has what's called Loation Oud, which is, to me, it's kind of a beginner or a baby oud, and it has a note of praline. And it just smells so yummy. It is sweet, a little bit syrupy. It's definitely gourmand in my opinion, but it still is anchored by this the wood note or the oud note. And let me tell you, I'm not a huge fan of oud. I have to do kind of simple ouds or inoffensive ouds. I do not like strong or barnyard ouds, and this is a very pleasant oud. I really, really enjoy it. It is just gorgeous, and it has a great lasting power. So that's why I think this is perfect for this list. The next fragrance is by far the most successful accidental purchase I have ever made. I had 4 fragrances in my cart at fragrancebuy.ca. I didn't want to pay for shipping, so I was looking for that 5th bottle, and I started alphabetically with the A's. And this bottle caught my eye, and I said, what the heck, even if I don't like it, it's less than $30. It's $30 or less. I don't really care. And so I went ahead and pulled the plug, and I couldn't have been more thrilled when I sniffed this for the first time. I have talked about it before. It is called Rare Tiffany by Afnan. It's kind of a fun, very ornate bottle, which is very, very heavy. And when you first look at it, you're thinking, or at least I did, spring and summer, because it just looks very aquatic with the abalone shells. However, when I close my eyes, or the more I wear this, the more I think it's incredibly versatile. And the notes in here, I think, will do really, really well in the fall. So this is a sweet, musky, floral with some woody notes. And the florals in here are jasmine, rose, and ylang ylang. And at first, I get rose. I get a rose that's really nice and sweet, and it's sweetened with this note of caramel. I can't smell caramel per se, but I do smell a sweetness which comes from the caramel. So it gives these florals a really nice sweetness. As this fragrance dries down, I will say that the ylang ylang kind of comes out a little bit more. And I also detect something a little bit fruity, you know, maybe like a lychee, maybe like a pear. I have looked up the notes. I'll put the notes over here. There's no pear listed, but I get something that smells like a nice fruity, you know, pear or lychee. And it just must be the caramel sweetening up the florals and the musk. This has a beautiful musk. A lot of Middle Eastern fragrances are known for their beautiful musk, and it dries down with a gorgeous, creamy sandalwood. So this, and like I said, I think I paid $30 or less, or right around $30 for this bottle. So that is why I think it is a great choice for this list. I am really excited to talk about this next one, which is a fragrance that is marketed towards men. And I'm actually surprised how many men subscribers I have, and I'm very appreciative of that. Thank you. And when I did my video, Smell Expensive on a Budget, in the comments section, I had someone tell me about this particular fragrance. And so I picked it up, and it's been in its box for a long, long time. And maybe about a month ago, I actually pulled it out and gave it a go, and I couldn't believe what a fantastic fragrance this is. And I think it would be perfect for this time of the year, the fall and the colder months. And it is called Mustache by Rochas. And this is a ginormous 4.2 ounce bottle, I believe. And it is $40 or less, I think, on Fragrance Buy. So this has been compared to Yves Saint Laurent Tuxedo. And I will say that I had a little sample of it, and they do smell very similar. In my opinion, if you have one, you don't need the other, but there are differences. You know, the Yves Saint Laurent is a little bit, it just smells a little bit deeper, a little bit smoother, a little bit more rounded, but let's not take anything away from this amazing fragrance. This smells great. It does lean masculine, but it is a great fragrance nonetheless. Right off the top, you get a punch of citrus. I believe it's orange and pepper, pink pepper. So that's right up the front. It's nice and invigorating. And then as it kind of starts to settle down, there's cedar in here, which is kind of a dry cedar. And to me, it is a little tobacco-y. I feel like I smell tobacco in everything, but for me, it's like a cedary tobacco note that I detect in this. There's patchouli, and the dry down is lovely. It sweetens up in the dry down. There is vanilla, and there's also benzoin in here. I believe it's benzoin, but it's very resinous. So has a really good lasting power. I get a good solid 6 hours when I wore it. So I think this is a fantastic choice for this list, and that is Mustache. Next up is a fragrance that when I first got it, I wore it all the time. I haven't worn it a lot recently because I don't think it's well suited for the warmer months, at least that's me. But I think it's a perfect fragrance for this video because it is a very strong and long-lasting fragrance. It has notes that are perfectly suited for these colder months that we're heading into, and it is very inexpensive. I personally did not buy this fragrance. I did a swap with my sister-in-law, but I looked up the price, and it was around $33 a couple months ago, and it is Charriol EDP. I've talked about this one other time. To me, to make it very simple, this reminds me a little bit of Coco Mademoiselle, but it just smells like if you took Coco Mademoiselle, Angel, and Givenchy Organza and you kind of mixed them up. They had a party and they came out with one fragrance. In my opinion, it would smell like this one. So if you like those fragrances, this might be right up your alley. It is a fruituli with some spicy florals. There's a fruit note in here. I believe the fruit note is mango. The florals are spicy florals. So there's frangipani and orchid. And to me, I think it's a little bit incensey. It has a little bit of incense when it dries down. And yeah, it just dries down into this really pretty, spicy, warm, ambery floral. It is not quite as loud as some of those fragrances that I talked about, Angel, Coco Mademoiselle, but it does have longevity. So it has really good performance, and so that's why I think it's a good one for the list. Next up is a fragrance that I love. This is marketed towards men, but it is 100% unisex in my opinion. And when I wear it and tell other people that it is marketed towards men, they have a hard time believing that. So I do think it is truly for everybody, and it is Mercedes-Benz Club Black. Let me tell you, if you took the juice in this and you repackaged it in a very expensive Guerlain bottle, you could sell it for, you know, $200. That's what it smells like to me. It is a beautiful ambery vanilla with just, oh God, it smells so good, with the slightest hint of smokiness to me. It is very resinous and sweet, almost to the point of being boozy, yet it does smell slightly boozy. It is a gorgeous fragrance that I wore in the colder months, and the performance was a little bit finicky. Some days I felt like it just didn't last, and then other days it would last all day. So it could have been just my skin, or it could have been days that I was layering with the lotion, but this is absolutely gorgeous. And if I haven't said it already, when I bought this, I think I paid $45 or $50 for this bottle. So yep, Mercedes-Benz Club Black. Next up is a fragrance I have been wearing forever. It has been a fall staple for me ever since it came out. It was gifted to me, oh gosh, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. And I think I'm on my 3rd bottle. So this is by Givenchy and it's Ange Oudimal. This is the Eau de Parfum. I will say that I've had the pre-formulation and the post-formulation. The pre-formulation was just a monster, literally lasted, I mean, very, very strong, lasted all day. This post-formulation, it's not as strong, but it still has decent lasting power. It is a gorgeous, beautiful, rich, warm, ambery floral. So the notes in here, we have saffron, we have lily, we have orchid, and the sweetness and the richness come from some vanilla and tonka, and it has a nice kind of warm woody anchor, which comes from rosewood. So it is, oh gosh, I just think it's gorgeous. I've never gotten sick of it. Like I said, I've been wearing it 4 years, and I have described this as being like a hybrid of root beer and cherry chapstick. I said that in one of my previous videos. Someone actually bought this based on that description and sent me a note and said, oh my gosh, you're right, it smells just like that. I love it. So it has a slight vintagey feel to it, but it's not overly dated, at least in my opinion. And right now, I think I looked it up today, the 1.7 ounce bottle on Fragrance Net is going for less than $50. So another one great for this list. Ange Oudimal. The second to last one on the list, I can assure you, it was not love at first sniff. It wasn't even like at first sniff. And I was thinking about decluttering it immediately because I tried to wear it in the wrong time of the year. I tried to wear it in the summer. And in my opinion, this is not a summertime fragrance. And it is La Petite Noire Black Perfecto. And it is the Eau de Parfum Florale version, if you can see that. So I love these opaque black bottles. I just think they're super cute. And this is, you know, that leather, cherry, almond, licorice fragrance that is, for me, not suited for warm months. But when I tried it again last fall, I really, really enjoyed it. And I really enjoyed wearing it, and I thought it was quite beautiful. It is strong. This baby is very strong. 3 sprays, almost too much. It'll last you all day. And incredibly expensive. I know for a fact that when I purchased this, I paid less than $30 for this. So another great one for the list. And I'm going to end the list with a fragrance that I have talked about before, I think maybe in 1 or 2 videos. But it is just perfect for this list because I think it's well suited for the cold months. It has great longevity, it has great performance, and when I bought this, I paid $50 or less, and it is very, very close to a very expensive fragrance, both of which were created by Francis Kurkdjian, and this one is by Nina Ricci, and this is L'Extase Rose Absolute. So I'm just going to make it real simple for you. This is a pared down or watered down version of Oud Satin Mood. I know this because I have both of them. And if you don't like one, you're not going to like the other. They are very similar. They're not clones. They're very similar. The difference is that this one is slightly less sweet. It's less powdery. And the oud is not as prominent. But perfect for this time of the year. Perfect for this list for the reasons that I mentioned, and it's just a gorgeous fragrance. I mean, like all fragrances, not everyone's going to like it, but I think it's beautiful for what is in the bottle. So yeah. So that does it for my inexpensive, long-lasting fragrances for the fall. I will be making a separate video, you know, kind of like my top fragrances for the fall. I'm kind of working on that list right now. Some of these fragrances may be on there. Some of them will drop off. There's so many fragrances that I have that I love to wear in the fall. Several of them are above the $50 level, and many of them aren't great in the performance aspect, but because they smell so beautiful, I am willing to wear them, and I love wearing them because I'm okay with fragrances that don't last forever as long as they smell really, really good. I can always reapply. So thank you again for watching. Thank you for sticking around. I would love to hear your comments. I would love if you have any fragrances that you love wearing for fall, particularly that are inexpensive and long-lasting. I would love for you to drop a comment because that is how I found at least one of these sitting behind me, which I think is a beautiful gem. So until next time,